The meeting of the Board of Regents Texas Tech University System is now called to order. The board will continue in open session and meet as a committee of the whole. Chancellor Duncan, President May, President Nellis, President Mitchell, and President Lang, will you please do the introductions and recognitions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd first like to introduce to you Terry Duncan, who is First Lady now of the Chancellor's Office. Stand up. I think you'll enjoy Terry. She's going to be a great ambassador for Texas Tech University System and each of the components, and she's already working real hard on making sure we have a great place to host people in Lubbock, Texas for the system. As I told you yesterday in our budget presentation, we've also put some new people on staff, and I've introduced them to you informally, but I do want to introduce them formally today because I think they're going to be important for all of us to get to know over time. First, I'd like to introduce for you Brandon Lips, the Chief of Staff. Brandon is back in the back where he likes to be most of the time. That's good for a Chief of Staff. Brandon just came to us from the House Agriculture Committee in Washington. He's a former staffer of mine and a former associate with the firm of
College World Series team.
So we've continued to have CD and West over there.
So they can throw them at you while you're giving your presentation.
I'd like to next introduce to you Dee Kirkpatrick. Dee Kirkpatrick is our executive assistant for Brandon and me. She knows me a little bit. She's been my secretary for 32 years over at the law firm. I think you'll find that Dee Dee is the only person who can read my handwriting. I've never said that before. But she's very efficient. She'll be very important to the operation of our office in the system. I would like to also introduce to you our new additions to governmental relations. I mentioned this yesterday. First, Porter Wilson, who's our Associate Vice Chancellor for Governmental Relations. Porter is my former Chief of Staff, has been on my legislative staff for the whole time that I was in the legislature from 1993 on. He has a particular specialty as a budget analyst for higher education. And then for the last 10 years, actually wrote the higher ed, was the technician and the staff person who did all of the negotiations in my stead and helped me write the higher ed budget in the Texas legislature. He'll be a valuable resource for us. Jennifer Chambers, Jennifer, would you stand up? Jennifer Chambers came to the Senate office in 2014, and she quickly became an expert in health and human services issues. We have never had someone who is specifically dedicated on a government relations team to deal with health and our health-related institutions. We now have 2 autonomous medical school health-related institutions, and it'll be really important for us now to be able to focus and concentrate on government relations issues there. Jennifer was a budget analyst for a lot of the reimbursement issues like Medicaid, all the UPL issues, the DISH, the Medicaid waivers, and all the things that do uniquely affect our practice plans and the ability for us to generate revenue in our health-related institutions. That's our new additions to the staff. I think you're going to find that they're really going to be helpful to you and to the components of the system. I have one more introduction for you today, Dr. Elizabeth Haley. She really doesn't need an introduction. We all know who she is. There's been no greater leader and ambassador for Texas Tech University. I remember first getting to know her in 1989 when she served as interim president for the university. And since that time has continued to be a great leader for us. She'll be retiring at the end of August after 33 years of service to the university. She is currently the Associate Vice Chancellor for Scholarships and Special Projects in the Institutional Advancement. She's Dean Emeritus for the College of Human Sciences. She's the former interim president, as I said, from 1988 to 1999, and she was the first female to serve as president and first female to chair the Southwest Conference Council of Presidents. She's a deputy chancellor from 2001 to 2002, and her collective work has created an immeasurable impact on Texas Tech now and other institutions by securing funding for key programs and priority. Her humble attitude, wealth of knowledge, and tireless efforts will be greatly missed, but I'm going to continue to call on her in my office, I know. say a few words.
Thank you so much. I would just like to express my appreciation to all of you and to the administrators, the faculty, the students, the alumni, and the donors with whom I've had an opportunity to work. When I came to Texas Tech as to be dean of what was then home economics, before we changed the name, I was very excited about the opportunities at Texas Tech, and I've been excited about them every day since then. And I've enjoyed the various opportunities that I have had to grow and develop, to learn new expertise, to meet with people that are loyal Red Raiders, and even some that weren't quite sure they wanted to be, but that we convinced to be along the way. I've had a great opportunity to work with the chancellors and the presidents and vice presidents. One of the great things about institutional advancement and raising money is that you have to go out and talk to faculty and researchers and know what their needs are, and then to try to present them the best you can. We've had a great time, and I thank you so much.
Thank you. President May? President Ellis?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. I'd like to start by introducing some of our highly successful athletic coaches. First of all, I'd like to introduce Coach Wes Kitley, our head track coach. This past May, Coach Kitley and his men's track team won the Big 12 Conference Championship at the Terry and Linda Fuller Track and Field Complex. This is only the second time in program history and the first since 2005 for this program to receive this title. The women's track team also finished their season as third in the conference, which was their best finish since 2009. Coach Kitley's in his 15th season at Texas Tech as Director of Track and Field and Cross Country. Under his direction, Texas Tech has produced 10 Olympic qualifiers, 6 Olympic medalists, 15 national champions, and over 200 All-Americans and 107 Big 12 champions. He also led Texas Tech to its only other Big 12 championship title in outdoor track and field in 2005. This past May, Coach Kitley was named the Big 12 Men's Coach of the Year. This is an award voted on by the league coaches and is highly revered title to receive. We're very proud of the success of our track and field program and appreciative of the hard work and service of Coach Kitley. Let's give him a round of applause. Although he couldn't be present today, I wanted to go ahead and acknowledge Coach Tim Tadlock, our head coach of the Red Raider baseball team. And I actually have he signed and players signed a baseball for each of our regions. So, Christine, if you don't mind, so I can throw them to you, but no. But I don't want you to throw them at me when I give my presentation later. Coach Tadlock did offer to change his recruiting trip to be here today, but I assured him that we'd want him to keep on track with his recruiting and continue his great successes. But I would like to recognize him today and our baseball team for their success in getting to the College World Series. This was the first time in school history that our baseball team has made it to this prestigious tournament. Further, this accomplishment came during Coach Tadlock's second season as our head coach. The team ended the season with a record 45 wins and 21 losses. Coach Tadlock is an alum and former baseball player for Texas Tech, and we are thankful that he has come back to his roots to lead our Texas Tech baseball team. And Ruthie and I had the opportunity to be in Omaha with the team, and I know some of the Regents were there as well. And it was with great pride to see the Texas Tech banner up on the side of the stadium there with the other 7 teams as we represented Texas Tech, and they made us very, very proud. I also wanted to mention Eric Gutierrez, who again is not able to be here today, but he's played many positions for Texas Tech, but served primarily as our first baseman. Eric was named the runner-up in the College World Series Home Run Derby. I don't know if any of you had a chance to see that. I did on TV. He had 52 home runs, shattering his previous record of 20. Eric had an 18 home run lead on the next person going into the final round, but ended up again finished second, but still we're very, very proud of him. Eric's from Mission, Texas, and is a university studies major, and we look forward to watching him this next season as well. Now moving away from athletics, I want to take the opportunity to introduce the new president of our Faculty Senate, Dr. Michael Farmer. Michael serves as an associate professor in both the College of Agricultural Science and Natural Resources and the College of Arts and Sciences, specifically in agricultural and applied economics and range, wildlife, and fisheries management. Michael is an environmental economist working primarily on the issue of water allocation and its consequences on land use. He joined the Red Raider family in 2005, bringing experience from The Ohio State University, where he not only worked but also received his master's and PhD. He received his master's and PhD, and he's also worked at the National Agricultural University of Norway and Georgia Tech. I'm pleased to have Michael in this leadership role. He's truly going to carry on the outstanding leadership that Dr. Alyssa Wong provided this past year, and again, I look forward to working with him in his important role. Thank you for being here today. Let's give him a round of applause. Lastly, I want to highlight a group of people who worked very hard on us receiving a special national recognition that was announced recently. At the beginning of my presidency, I set as a priority to be more entrepreneurial and innovative in how we work together as faculty, staff, and students, as well as how we partner with our community and business leaders. Our national association, the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities, started a process a year ago to provide steps where universities could receive a very special designation as an innovative and economic prosperity university. At my direction and under the leadership of Vice President for Research, Dr. Rob Duncan, that's again not Chancellor Duncan, R2D2, he set a team in place to work through this process with hopes of, again, being recognized in this special way. Dr. Duncan's working team included Kay Tyndall, Sally Post, Kathy Austin, and Suzanne Taylor. And Kathy, Sally, and Kay Tyndall, Sally Post, and Kathy Austin are here today. Suzanne is at her brother-in-law's commencement at Dallas Baptist this morning, so not able to be here. Kay Tyndall serves, and if she'd stand as I call each of their names, Kay Tyndall serves as a Director for Research Development in the Office of the Vice President for Research. Sally Post serves as a Senior Director for Research and Academic Communications in the Office of the Vice President for Research with the Provost. Kathy Austin serves as the Assistant Vice President for both Information Technology and Institutional Research. And you all know that Suzanne Taylor serves as my Director for External Relations. This team was responsible for organizing a series of questionnaires that went out to alumni, our students, community leaders, business leaders. We had a tremendous response, and the feedback from that has helped shape us to be even more effective as an innovative and economic prosperity university. On July 10th, Texas Tech was one of 14 universities selected for this special recognition. APLU describes this designation as one awarded to universities that demonstrate excellence and leadership in planning, implementing, and evaluating programs and initiatives that support regional economic development. In that group of 14 included universities like Purdue, Georgia Tech, the University of Illinois, and Penn State. So we're in very good company with this designation, and I applaud them for their work. And I also must say that Terry Duncan, the First Lady of the system, Texas Tech University system, she, working with LEDA, was also very, very supportive in this process, and we appreciated all her hard work as well. So let's give those people a round of applause as well. And that concludes my introductions.
Coach Kitley, would you stand, please? Coach Kitley is from a large city east of here by the name of Rule. Everyone knows where Rule is. His best friend growing up and still today is Art Browse. So remarkable that small town had two wonderful coaches come out of it. Our men won the Big 12, but watching our women compete was an impossible feat for what they did. They finished third in the conference, and that truly, truly was an impossible feat. They competed so hard that day. I mean, it's just remarkable of what our ladies did. And not take anything away from our men, but it was really a nice surprise to see our ladies. Coach Kitley has signed the #1 recruit for the half mile in the nation from East St. Louis, I think. And the girl that's coming that's half miler, you signed her also, right? Correct. And where's she from?
She is also from St. Louis.
So the #1 half miler men's and the #1 half miler women's will be coming. And we'll read about those two young athletes in the Olympics someday. They'll be great runners here at Tech. And as everybody knows, going on that track and just turning to the left continuously isn't easy. That is not easy. Mr. Francis is our runner, and so trust me, those kids are dedicated, and they all love Texas Tech. So we appreciate what you've done, Coach. Thank you. President Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two introductions. The first one is Annette Bowles. Annette is the director for our community outreach program through the Garrison Institute. She's been with the university for about 10 years. She's been the director of community outreach since 2009. She has been instrumental in the Garrison Institute in getting outside funding for grants related to lifestyle and health. She's received, through grants that she's put together, over $1.5 million worth of grant funding for this. So she's an outstanding community researcher for the university, as well as an outstanding I guess the best word would be instigator. They approached me a few years ago about putting together a farmer's market for the university. All of you have a jar of honey in front of you from our farmer's market, because we have the farmer's market going on today. We do it every other Friday during the summer months of the year, and it's been very, very popular. It's part of our worksite overall wellness, the WOW program that we started a couple of years ago. So Annette, we're very grateful for everything you've done for the Health Sciences Center. Thank you. The other introduction is a little bit different. I'm going to ask Steve Burke to come up. There's been a lot in the news in the last few weeks about Ebola, and we have a lot of our students and faculty that travel back and forth all over the globe, including Africa. And not only is Dr. Steve Burke a dean par excellence, he is also an infectious disease specialist. So I asked him to take just a couple of minutes and give Brian an update on Ebola.
Okay. I'm going to start off with the bad news and then give you some of the good news. I think I can do it pretty quickly, and obviously there is a lot of relevance to students and travel and research. So obviously the bad news is that Ebola is a very deadly infection. The mortality rate, as you probably heard, is 60 to 90%. That's about as bad as it gets, perhaps with the exception of rabies. So that in itself is a reason for the tremendous concern about the spreading of this infection, that it is one of the deadliest infections. And the early symptoms are really very nonspecific: fever, chills, sore throat, headache, and really the patient doesn't declare themselves until later on. There's kind of a characteristic rash, and then there's organ failure and bleeding. Bad news is that there's now over 900 cases been reported, and 900 deaths, and 1,700 cases. There's a very poor tracking system, so those numbers are obviously very underestimated. And as you know, there are 2 American missionaries that are now being treated at Emory Hospital under very strict infection control protocol, but nevertheless created some controversy that Ebola for the first time is in the United States. There's also a Spanish priest who contracted Ebola in Liberia, and he's back being treated in Spain. There was actually a Liberian American, Patrick Sawyer, who got infected in Liberia, took a plane to Nigeria, headed home to Minnesota, collapsed at the airport in Nigeria, was treated there, died there 5 days later, and a nurse and 4 other people, a nurse that took care of him has died, and 4 other people were infected. And yesterday, a patient that went from Liberia to Saudi Arabia died in Saudi Arabia. Actually, that was the first person outside of Africa to die of Ebola. So obviously, lots of really major concerns. On the positive, perhaps the good news side, is that Ebola is very infectious. Once it gets into the body, it causes very severe infection. But it's not that contagious. It's not as contagious as, for example, our influenza virus, where you can get infected from droplets across the room. So to get infected from Ebola, you have to have very direct contact of patient secretions, saliva, blood, or more likely when the patient gets sick, there's a lot of vomiting and diarrhea. So direct contact with these fluids, and then you're in real trouble as far as potentially getting the disease. But it's not spread through the air or by very incidental contact. And then the other good news, which I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about, and that is that the reservoir for Ebola is in West Africa. It's not here. There's no reservoir for this virus. In West Africa, in the countries affected, actually, and I don't know if you've heard this or not, but it's the fruit bat in Sierra Leone and Guinea and Liberia that has Ebola in its blood and doesn't die from it. So the fruit bats in West Africa go on with this low-grade Ebola infection. They eat fruit. The fruit drops down to the ground in these rainforests, and it's eaten by animals, monkeys and porcupines and antelopes. And then the people of West Africa, in this very poor nation, they're eating those animals after they get infected. In fact, they eat the fruit bats. They put the fruit bats in a spicy stew. Not a meal I would recommend these days. So that's why this is getting propagated, because it's within the environment. And public health officials are doing everything they can to try to ban this bush meat, to ban the idea of individuals, eating the meat of these animals in the tropical rainforests. But it's part of a culture of many years. Plus, it's a very poor area, and that's where they get their protein. So that's the issue there. A little bit of good news on treatment, although as a general rule, we say there is no treatment for Ebola except supportive therapy, watching the blood pressure and the fever and just taking good care, supportive care of the patient. But as you may have heard, there's a MAP, a biopharmaceutical, has a product, ZMAP, which is an antibody that they've made in mice, and they gave it to the 2 missionaries, the 2 individuals that are in Emory, and they seem to have a dramatic improvement. That has many, many years of testing before that could actually be proven. It's made by MAP Biopharmaceutical. They're not on the stock market yet. There's also a vaccine that is in development where it's actually a different virus with a few of the genes of Ebola put into it, so it's made fairly safely, and they think that may work. And then there's also been some treatment in West Africa where they've taken individuals who have survived Ebola, used their serum, put it into sick patients, and they seem to have improved. So the good news side is that there seems to be some progress in treatment. And now with all the interest in Ebola, there's no doubt that there'll be more investigators working on it to try to find some treatments. So that's the story. It's obviously pretty scary to society as a whole. But the one last point I would make, we have a West Texas influenza center here. It's out of Lubbock and Amarillo. And to put things in perspective, 25,000 Americans die every year of influenza. So there's lots of infectious diseases, and there's a lot of viral infections that are very threatening. For right now, it's diseases like influenza are more of a threat to the United States. But there are potential reasons for this getting out of hand. Everybody, of course, is interested in airplanes and what happens on airplanes. One very sick person on an airplane with vomiting and bleeding could be a major problem. So anyway, that's a quick summary, and if I've created more questions than I've cleared up, I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
No, as Dwayne said, it's comforting to know how many people die from influenza. That makes us all feel better.
Glad I was able to reassure you there.
Any questions about it?
Right?
Yeah. No, but we have currently 2 students that are in Africa, and I know that a lot of our faculty members go back and forth and the like, so it is something that's come up pretty consistently in the last few days. So, Dr. Burke, thank you very much. And before I conclude, there are freebies back here, guys. These are all from the farmer's market. So, Russell Thompson, don't go back there and just load up your briefcase. Let other people have some. But anybody, feel free to pick something up on your way out. That's all my introductions.
Dr. Lang?
No report today, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for those introductions and recognitions. The board will continue in open session and meet as a committee of the whole and meeting of the board. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the board meeting held on May 15 and 16, 2014 and June 12, 2014? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. We will now consider items as a committee of the whole, and I would ask the vice chairman to preside over the committee of the whole. Regent Andrews.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The item is consideration of the consent agenda, items A through H, as listed on pages 1 through 13 of the agenda book, and the information agenda as listed on pages 14 through 17 of the agenda book. Before I move on, is there any discussion of any of the items on either of these agendas? As a reminder, if there is an item that you would like discussed in further detail and voted on separately from the consent agenda, you may request that item be moved to the committee of the whole agenda. Mr. Chairman, I move that the board approve the consent agenda and acknowledge its review of the information agenda.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Regent Andrews.
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the items to be considered by the committee of the whole at this time.
Thank you, Regent Andrews. The board will continue meeting in open session to consider reports of the standing committees. Chairman Neal, will you present the items considered for action by the Academic, Clinical, and Student Affairs Committee?
Thank you. The Academic, Clinical, and Student Affairs Committee of the board met in open session on Thursday, August 7th, 2014. Considered items 1 through 10 as presented on pages ACS 1 through ACS 18 of the agenda book. I request that the following items be considered and approved as a group. Item number 1, Angelo State, approve granting of academic tenure. Item 2, Angelo State, approve emeritus appointments. Item 3, Angelo State, approve revisions to the International Undergraduate Student Admission Policy at Angelo State University effective fall 2014. Item 4, Texas Tech, approve appointments with tenure. Item 5, Texas Tech, approve a Bachelor of Science in Early Child Care in the College of Human Sciences. Item 6, Texas Tech, approve text, installation, and location of plaque for Dr. John Whitmore, former president of Texas Tech University. Item 7, Texas Tech University Health Science Center, approve appointment with tenure. Item 8, Texas Tech HSC at El Paso, authorize the process to establish a graduate school of biomedical sciences at Texas Tech University Health Science Centers at El Paso. Item 9, TTU HSC and TTU HSC at El Paso, approve revised tenure and promotion policy. Item 10, Tech at El Paso, approve conferral of emeritus appointment. Mr. Chairman, the committee recommends approval of the items as presented, and I so move.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the report of the Academic, Clinical, and Student Affairs Committee.
Thank you. Chairman Francis, will you present the items considered for action by the Audit Committee?
Mr. Chairman, the Audit Committee of the Board met in open session on Thursday, August 7th, 2014, and considered items 1 and 2 as presented on A1 through A4 of the agenda book. I request the following item be considered and approved, which was our annual audit plan for the Texas Tech University system for 2015. The committee also accepted a report on the status of our audits in progress. And Mr. Chairman, the Audit Committee also convened an executive session after which no items we considered items, but there were no items for action to be approved. The committee recommends approval as items as presented. I so move.
Do I hear a second? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Regent Montford, will you present the items considered for action by the Facilities Committee?
Mr. Chairman, the Facilities Committee of the Board met in open session on Thursday, August 7th, 2014, and considered items 1 through 6 as presented on pages F1 through F17 of the agenda book. I request that the following items be considered and approved as a group. Item 1, Angelo State University approve renaming Varsity Drive. Item 2, Angelo State, Texas Tech, and Texas Tech Health Sciences Center acknowledge the campus Condition Index Report and submission to the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. Item 3, Texas Tech, approve Phase 2 and budget increase to the Campus Beautification Initiative. Item 4, Texas Tech, approve a ground lease with right of access and use of Texas Tech University land as revised. Item 5, Texas Tech System, approve a draft of the TTU and the Health Sciences Center Campus Master Plan update. And the committee also accepted the following report, item number 6 of the Texas Tech System, the report on facilities planning and construction projects. Mr. Chairman, the committee recommends approval of the items as presented, and I so move.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Chairman. Chairman Steinmetz, will you present the items considered for action by the Finance and Administration Committee?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, the Finance and Administration Committee of the Board met in open session on Thursday, August 7th, 2014, and considered items 1 through 6 as presented on pages FA1 through FA13 of the agenda book. I request the following items be considered and approved as a slate. Item number 1, Texas Tech University System Administration, Texas Tech University, Angelo State, and Texas Tech University Health Science Center approval of the 2015 operating budgets. Item 2, Texas Tech University approve renewal of city bus agreement. Item 3, Texas Tech University and Texas Tech University Health Science System authorize engagement of consultant for child care center feasibility study. Item 4, Texas Tech University approve extension of a contract with Under Armour. Item 5, Texas Tech University System approve amendments to Chapter 9 of the Regents rules. Item 6, Texas Tech University System approve fiscal year 2015 premium rates for the medical liability self-insurance plan. Mr. Chairman, the committee recommends approval of the items as presented, and I so move.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We will continue meeting as a committee of the whole and meeting of the board. Ben, please present the schedule of board meetings for 14 and 15.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next scheduled meeting of the board is set as a one-day meeting on Friday, October 10th. I would expect that to be a morning start time, much like that.
Thank you. Chancellor Duncan, please present your report. If the region would hold your questions until the president's finished, each one, and then we can ask them whatever questions that they'll have. Be much smoother, I think.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I took office here, I guess, 30 days ago, and so it's been a pretty quick 30 days. This is a huge system. I've had the opportunity to go around and meet individually with each of the presidents to learn and dialogue about the concerns that each of the component issues have, their needs, their priorities, and it was a very productive trip to each one of these presidents. So we are very fortunate. Beginning on July the 7th, I inherited a system that is in very good condition. You have done a good job in managing the financial aspect of this institution as well as its goals and priorities, and you should be commended for what you have done, and your presidents should be commended for what they have done in promoting excellence in each of their institutions. I have also, and I'm not quite done yet, but I want to meet with each one of you individually to understand better your priorities and concerns with regard to the system. And I hope to have that finished by at least the end of the summer. Things have been moving pretty fast, so, and I know you've been busy as well in your private lives, but I'll have to say that it's very helpful for me to understand on a one-on-one basis what your concerns are. Because I see here collectively each one of you are very involved in the management of this university and in the setting the policies and strategies, and it's very much appreciated, and I think it's the result is why we have the success that we have. Our priorities that you have set, and we will forward for the institutions in the system, are the accessibility and affordability of higher education, and that's going to be a lot of things, but I think we're going to be dealing a lot with coming up with a legislative session. We're going to need some assistance. If we're going to keep higher ed affordable for our students, we're going to need some assistance along the lines of formula funding, as well as funding in some of the areas that help support the institutions like HEAF and like relief from the Hazelwood Scholarship program that I think is a good program, but I think it's something that needs some state support in order to be sustainable, especially for the smaller institutions in our system and in others. We will need to also have financial assistance for the enrollment growth that we're having. We're doing very well. We're growing real quickly, but again, we have to manage that growth, and we intend to do that. I want to brag a little bit about our fundraising efforts here. I'd like to take credit that this only happened in the last 30 days, but it didn't. It happened over the last year. But our fundraising team and our institutional advancement, headed by Scott Cooksey as an interim almost for a year now, the fundraising totals as of July, and that's not the end of the year, is $152.7 million in 1 year, and this is actually 11 months. So that's impressive. 25 years ago or 20 years ago, that would have been unheard of. That would have been 3 major campaigns for this university system, and we have certainly matured as a system in our ability to raise funds. We have maintained, I think, a lot of momentum as we, with regard to fundraising after it's important to note that we did that after a major campaign as well. So I think that our alums and supporters are awakened to the future, to the bright prospect and future of this institution. So I look forward to playing a role in that as we go forward. I have met with all of our presidents individually, but also as a group, and it's really kind of fun. I'll close with this one thing. I really do like our art program. We dedicate a percentage of each of our new constructions to art. I think our next project, we can save a little money on this, I think. Ted does the best artwork during board meetings, and would you show that, Ted? So at our next construction, we'll blow that up, do something with it, and put it in the front, and that'll be our art for our next building. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chancellor. Dr. May, please present your report.
Well, the Chancellor already made one change. Now we get to take the podium. I'm always proud to do that, though, so that works good. And I just want to say that I appreciate the opportunity to tell you a little bit about what happened at Angelo State the last few months. This just came out yesterday. For the 6th consecutive year, Angelo State was listed by the Princeton Review as one of the country's best institutions for undergraduate education, an honor that goes to only about 15% of the nation's more than 2,500 four-year colleges. So that was a big honor for us. The next one is Dylan Metter, a cadet colonel in the Angelo State University Air Force ROTC Detachment 847, has been named the 2014 Outstanding ROTC Cadet of the Year by the U.S. Air Force Association. The Wall High School graduate, he didn't play football. Metter was chosen for the award from more than 13,400 ROTC cadets in the U.S. He became eligible by winning the William Randolph Lovelace Award in February as the top cadet in the Southwest region. A selection committee bases its decision on academic achievement, physical fitness, and military performance. Members are already been selected for the Air Force pilot training after he graduates in May. Angelo State University's Educator Preparation Program has been ranked in the top 10 nationally for its online degree offerings for veterans in the U.S. News and World Report for its 2014 edition of the Best Online Programs for Veterans. ASU ranked number 8 and was only one of 3 Texas schools on the list. One introduction that I failed to make this morning, and I'm going to take that time now, and all of the Regents know her well, but Angie Wright was named our ASU's Vice President for Finance and Administration in June after holding the position as interim basis for 15 months. A member of ASU's administration since 1991, she earned her bachelor's degree in business administration from ASU in 1985. The 1% raise, and Jim Brunges called this out a little bit when we were talking about budget, the 1% raise that we were able to give while decreasing our total budget by 4.5% was found by Angie Wright. What that does to the morale of our employees is unbelievable. And I tell you, I trust her with everything, and I hope that you do as well. She's going to be a valued employee for this system. Dr. William Taylor, as the ASU Security Studies faculty, has received 2 research travel grants to help fund research in his upcoming second book, In the Service of Democracy, American Military Manpower from World War II to the Present. He received his first grant in May from the Dwight D. Eisenhower Foundation to study at the Eisenhower Presidential Library in Abilene, Kansas. In late July, Taylor received his second grant from the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Foundation to study at the Ford Library in Ann Arbor, Michigan. This is a very highly competitive and highly sought-after type of research travel. It's not a lot in money, but the prestige that goes with it is certainly significant. Another person that we recently hired, and it's just pretty much for information, but very critical not only to the Board of Regents but our administration, Becky Bracken, who previously serves as ASU's Director of Community Relations, was named the Director of Community Relations and Marketing in July. She is an alumnus of Angelo State University, but she was the former president and publisher of the San Angelo Standard-Times for many years. She also served as Community Relations Coordinator and Public Relations Director for 10 years for SAISD there locally in San Angelo. I think you'll find she's going to replace Preston Lewis, who's been there for 15 years. Angelo State University's Master of Education in Guidance and Education Administration have also been ranked as one of the 10 best online master's programs in school counseling degree programs by bestschools.org, an education resource that ranks degrees in all disciplines. Bestschools.org selected Angelo State's program based on several weighted factors, including academic excellence, course offerings, faculty strengths, and reputation, and including the reputation for online degree programs. Dr. Bruce Bechtel, also on the ASU Security Studies faculty, was featured in an episode on Book TV program on C-SPAN network in June the 29th. He discussed his new book on North Korea and regional security. It is his 4th book on North Korea, published since 2007. He's one of the foremost civilian experts in the country on the military and political climate of the Korean Peninsula. A paper written by Dr. Jeffrey Schoenberg in the English faculty was named the best research paper in the language, literature, and linguistics at the International Conference on Global Science and Technology Forum in Bangkok, Thailand this June. Schoenberg also was selected to serve on the peer review panelist for the National Endowment for the Humanities Fellowship Program. One other thing that, since Chairman Long brought up track and that the great coach we had here from Rule, we also had some success in track this year. Our women won the 6th straight conference title for the Lone Star Conference, as well as many competitors at the national level. Our men won second, and that's their 5th year in a row to finish in the top 2. The men had 6 outdoor All-Americans, and the women had 7 outdoor All-Americans. And Jordan Gray was a track athlete of the year in the Lone Star Conference. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. May. Jared, please.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board, honored guests, and Chancellor Duncan, let me be the first to say, on behalf of the students of Angelo State University, congratulations, Chancellor. We know you're going to do a great job. When I stood up here a couple months ago, in the back of my mind, I was kind of hoping that, at the very least, I could say we wouldn't burn anything to the ground. Well, I'm here to say, not only have we not burned anything to the ground, we've actually had a pretty successful summer. Let me just highlight a few of the things we've done. First, we've revamped the student discount program. You got to set that bar high. You got to set it real high. First, we have revamped the student discount program. We gave this program structure it needs to sustain itself from a year-to-year basis and continuously grow. We have clearly outlined the expectations we have of businesses participating in the program, and we have offered our community partners a clear idea of what they can expect from us at student government. We currently have approximately 60 businesses participating in this program. Faculty and staff have also been included in some of the recent discounts as a part of this revamped program. Discounts go from anywhere from food to oil changes to clothes to iPhone repairs. As we speak, SGA teams are spreading out across the great community of San Angelo, recruiting for new members. I have made it a goal of my administration to expand this program by 10% every month for the duration of my administration. Over the summer, we have aggressively recruited student leaders for the Student Senate, and we are boasting a robust Senate bursting with talent. We actually have just about maximum capacity for the Senate, which is something that's pretty impressive in recent years. With students from all backgrounds, this body now stands to be one of the most diverse groups of students on campus. We have veterans, transfer students, international students, non-traditional students, and traditional students. They all come from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life, and now they are the representative body of Angelo State, and we're really excited for all that we can accomplish with this body. Student government provides the blue books and scantrons to the departments for testing. It was something done years ago, not by my administration, but we've added a process to it to include the student senators in the decision of how many blue books and scantrons the departments gets. This gives the senators a very active role in the governance for their departments and for their fellow students. We're really excited about this. It's gone very successfully so far. We've had a few requests, and we've had the committee handle them outstandingly. We have done much more, and we look to accomplish even more with the full SGA back in the end of August. I will say that over the summer, we've had a very dedicated group of SGA members working with us over the summer. Notable for accomplishments over the summer is Senator Jarrett Lujan, who's in attendance today. Wave somewhere. There he is. Without his key leadership and support, the student discount program would not be as well set up for success as it is now. Also, Senators Larissa Murray, Zach Miranda, Jeffrey Johnston, Megan Rogers, and Christian Garcia have proven themselves indispensable members of the team. And of course, Ross Kushnerite, Student Body Vice President, has been a driving force to everything we've attempted to do so far. He could not be here today, but he sends his regards. I know this year will be a phenomenal year with leaders like these, and we are truly excited to be a part of this system. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Nellis?
Mr. Chairman and members of the Regents, I really appreciate the opportunity to give you an update on our major priorities for the coming academic year for my leadership team. I wanted to focus on that, not provide detailed highlights of some of the recent developments, but I can integrate that in with relative to these priorities. But I did want to mention one thing that happened just a few weeks ago, and that was the Chronicle of Higher Education's recognition of Texas Tech University as one of the best places to work. And again, that reinforces what we've been hearing for the last several years, and we had recognition last year from Glassdoor.com as well in a similar light, and we're very proud to have an environment here which is more like a family environment, very supportive environment from our faculty, staff, and students. So relative to key priorities for me and my leadership team this coming year, one is certainly to work closely with our new chancellor and make sure he's connected with the Texas Tech University culture, and we want to be supportive of him and his legislative efforts. As he already mentioned, there are some key agenda items coming up in the legislature relative to HEAF, the TRBs, relief relative to the Hazelwood Act, and other associated initiatives. Continued preparation for SACS reaffirmation. Again, we have our reaffirmation, and that's a 10-year reaffirmation that's coming up in February of 2015. There'll be an on-site team that will visit us at that time. The report to SACS is due in September of this year, and there will be an off-site team that will review that report and provide feedback to the university, which will be given an opportunity to respond to, and then an on-site team that will come on campus to review us in February, and we want that to go extremely well. Catherine Parsoneau out of the provost office has been assigned to be at the point on this documentation and review process. We want to continue to enhance student recruitment and enrollment and retention, and really look at the mix of what should be our 40,000 student number as to how many of those should be undergraduates, how many should be graduate students, how many should be on campus here in Lubbock, how many should be supported through online learning, how many should be at some of our distributed regional sites such as in Marble Falls and Fredericksburg. So we need to be able to analyze that, but also with our existing students, we want to continue to elevate their success, because part of being more AAU-like is to increase our retention rates from freshman to sophomore year and from sophomore to junior year, et cetera, so that we increase our graduation rates. Right now our graduation rate is about 60%, and our retention rate from freshman to sophomore is about 80%, and those are below where they need to be for AAU status. As we look at our recruitment, we need to make sure that we're continuing to elevate our success as far as average SAT and ACT scores. If you look at our incoming class, we're likely to, we don't have the final figures on this, but we're likely to drop just a few numbers from our average SAT, ACT from a year ago. So as we increase these larger numbers of students coming into the university, we need to be very sensitive to how that affects our profile as we try to emerge as a national research university. Leadership searches, again, we've done most of those this past year. We have a new Dean of Arts and Sciences, for example, Brent Lindquist, and a new Dean of the Graduate School, Mark Sheridan, from outside. But we do have the retirement of the current Library Dean, and we're launching that search as we speak. We need to create more partnering opportunities with each college for leveraging resources. In the past, there's been more of a tradition of kind of a silo approach where each of the colleges are kind of doing their own thing, and we need more of a synergy among colleges working across disciplines to create greater opportunities for leveraging resources, and we need to monitor those metrics for enhanced college performance. As you know, we launched we're operationalizing TTU worldwide e-learning, and we're also trying to invigorate our regional campuses. Worldwide e-learning, we hired Justin Lauder to direct that program, and I think we're going to see significant growth in that program for Texas Tech University, providing students opportunity to take a quality Texas Tech University degree program for places not only around Texas but around the world. We need to continue to support, promote, and strengthen our athletic programs, and I'm very proud of the leadership we have through Kirby Hokut. Again, out of the 17 NCAA programs we have, 13 of them made it into the postseason NCAA playoffs, and again, that's an outstanding record, but we need to continue to build on that and make sure they have the support during a time of great change in college athletics, as we all know. We need to take into account the coordinating board goals when reassessing Texas Tech University's strategic goals. They have, for example, themes around pathways from community colleges to major universities like Texas Tech. We need to make sure that the opportunities for students to transfer to Texas Tech are smooth, and we have great relationships with community colleges like South Plains. And I've had lunch recently with the president of South Plains College to reinforce the positive relationship that I want to continue to build there. We need to track our national recognitions to measure success for our students and faculty. We're being much more aggressive in making sure we nominate faculty and students for the most prestigious national awards, and that's a very important part of what I think will define Texas Tech as we move forward. On the research front, we need to track our research cluster initiative that we started this last year using some of our NREF funding to determine progress. We're holding those people very accountable. Those are very interdisciplinary works, and our VPR, Rob Duncan, has hit the ground running in a very aggressive way to really focus us as far as our research strategies. We can't be all things to all people. We need to invest in critical areas, and he's trying to narrow that around 9 or 10 key themes that we have already strength, and we can build greater strength through the proper investment. And as we do that, we need to be sensitive to lab safety and to be more entrepreneurial, and we appreciate all the work of the Office of Commercialization and Innovation out of the Chancellor's Office, but we need to have greater synergies of the efforts around entrepreneurship and being more innovative, and where we have opportunities to commercialize intellectual property and to develop startup businesses, we need to do that. Having the research part coming online, I think, is going to be a huge step forward in that regard. As far as partnerships and synergies, I've really appreciated the relationship I have with Dr. Mitchell with the Health Sciences Center. I've already talked to Dr. Lang about how we can work closely with the Health Sciences Center in El Paso. We want to have joint appointments. We've already made some of those appointments through the Health Sciences Center. There's tremendous opportunity at that interface between Texas Tech University and the Health Sciences Center units here in Lubbock and in El Paso. Businesses and corporations, we continue to strengthen that relationship. I already mentioned about our community engagement through the Innovation and Economic Prosperity Award. And we also are sensitive to international partnerships, and you heard some of that at lunch yesterday from Provost Lawrence Skuvenak. We need to rebrand and create strategies for summer school and evening programs. Our summer programs have been somewhat neglected, I think, as opportunities to help enhance students moving towards degree completion, and we need to focus on that, as well as evening programs. We live in a community of 250,000 people. We want to make sure that those people have access to Texas Tech through evening programs, through specialized evening programs. I have hired a new President's Fellow. I have an annual fellow program they rotate through. Susan Tomlinson out of the Honors Program is going to be on for a year, and her focus is going to be strengthening our evening programs. We need to develop performance-based business models and incentivize key parameters of what we're expecting from each of our units, and so it's continuing to refine the responsibility-centered management model. We need to continue to build positive relationships with our key leaders, alumni, and donors. Already just in the last month and a half, I've been in Denver, Oklahoma City, and just this week in El Paso to meet with alumni. While I was in El Paso, I had the opportunity to meet with various members of the Chamber of Commerce in El Paso, a number of business leaders, as well as the independent school district superintendents, the military commandant from Fort Bliss, and many others. So it was a great opportunity to interact, and we had a representative from Health Sciences Center El Paso as well there, and we want to, again, continue to build on those sorts of opportunities and continue to provide oversight of where we're at right now as far as our infrastructure, but where we need to be. And we certainly appreciate the leadership of Regent Monford, but also we'll be looking forward to working with Regent Esparza and Steinmetz and others as we try to really be strategic about where we should be in the next 5 to 10 years as far as our building infrastructure, and make sure we have the right academic investment as well as the residential investment to move the institution forward to greater levels of success. So those are some of the key themes. There's a lot going on at Texas Tech University. I'm very proud of our team, leadership team that we have in place right now. There's a lot of energy associated with us moving forward. We have a great relationship with our faculty, staff, and students. And I did want to mention that Hayden Hatch, our student body president, is not able to be here today. He's in Junction as part of a Red Raider orientation with his leadership team. He's been very helpful in getting out and meeting potentially new Red Raiders, and Junction's a great site for him. But anyway, I appreciate the opportunity to update you today, and thank you for your support. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hayden Hatch is unable to be with us today. He is the counselor at the Red Raider camp this week, and he'll give us a update on that camp and other things in October meeting. Dr. Mitchell?
Don't get dressed for us to.
It's good to set goals.
Wait, Dr. Mitchell. Dr. Nellis, are you sure you didn't forget anything?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Everybody has a copy of our report, and I would really encourage you to go through this at your leisure. It's an update of things that have been going on at the Health Sciences Center since our last board meeting. I'm actually going to just flip through this and hit some very specific highlights for you guys, but I really would encourage you to go through this at your leisure when you have a chance. I have a table of contents on there, and for everybody in the audience, there's a link here if you want to look at the same report at some point in time. Why you might want to do that, I have no idea, but if you'd like to, you may. On page 3, as everybody knows, we're getting ready for the upcoming legislative session, and we've had our entire team, spearheaded by Mr. Cavan, putting things together for our legislative appropriation request. On page 4, we will continue to work with HSC El Paso and their plans for independent accreditation. As I mentioned yesterday, the target date for submission of an application to SACS is going to be 2017. We've got teams working at every level, every step of the way, making sure that that'll come out the way we want it to. Below that, Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center, we're going to start an awareness campaign for this year, and we've developed a Your Life, Our Purpose theme for this one-year-long campaign. We're going to have a launch on September 5th, Friday, September 5th, and I realize it's the day before the Tech UTEP football game, but all of the board members have an invitation that you've received for a save the date. So be following up on that, because we're going to have events throughout the year, basically just making sure that people are aware of what it is that we do, who it is that we serve, what our product is with our health care providers. The VA clinic has been on everybody's mind recently because of the issues the VA's had. We've had some really good reports coming from that. Both the House and the Senate have passed the bill that gives the funding for the VA clinic. We get $8.5 million of that for the project in Lubbock, and so as things move forward at the federal pace, we'll keep you guys posted. The Mommy Meds app, some of you may not even remember, I guess maybe the newer board members, there's an app that we have, a telephone app, that mothers and pregnant women and moms can use when they're breastfeeding, that you can literally take a picture, take a snapshot of a barcode on a bottle, and it will tell you whether or not you can take that medicine for if you're breastfeeding or if you're pregnant. And it depends on where you are, what trimester in your pregnancy and the like. We just had a big national launch of that at the International Lactation Conference just recently. Mary Crow was there with Dr. Tom Hale, who put the whole thing together. And we're working on a televised launch for this as well. So we're very pleased with what it's doing. One of the things when I first got here that was a real issue, or that was something that caught my attention on the student survey, the first student survey that I saw, was that some of our students did not feel like they were part of anything more than just an academic system. They didn't feel like they were part of something bigger, a tech family. And so we've put a bunch of things in place through the Student Government Association, through Student Services, through the schools, to make sure that we keep people as part of our program with what they're doing. And if you look at page 6, I highlighted some of the things from the survey that we've moved the metrics significantly over the course of the past 4 years. I feel a sense of belonging to my school. I feel a sense of belonging to the HSC community. I have adequate access to my instructors. My instructors are concerned about my academic success. My instructors care about my professional success. I would recommend my degree program to a friend or family. I have sufficient opportunities to interact with students from other HSC schools. This is something that kind of stood out depending on the program and the location, but we've made really good changes in those areas in the last several years. On page 7, we received a large donation for development of a new school of public health. We're the only health sciences center in the state that does not have a School of Public Health, and there are a number of things it does that we've discussed at other times, and we're very, very pleased that we're moving forward with this project. There'll be more to come at the next board meeting. On page 12, our School of Medicine has just admitted its largest class ever. We have 183 students that we have brought in with an average MCAT that is 31.58, which is the same as the Mayo Clinic. So we're doing quite well in that regard, and in fact, we're not trying to get the MCAT up any higher. So we've done what we've wanted to do with that, and I've told you guys before, if you get up MCATs any higher, the people you bring in, they will either cure cancer or they'll be the Unabomber. And we're not sure which, so we're happy with where we are right now. And but we've had a phenomenal go of it with our recruiting. Rick, are you going to talk about? Okay, all right. Rick will talk about the student that we've had. If you go to page 16, very quickly, Lawrence Skubanek yesterday was talking about China and the visit they had there. You can look at this at your leisure, but on pages 16, 17, 18, I'd put in there some information. This is under our Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, just how China's doing relative to science, relative to us. And it's actually pretty frightening. That's just an article that I'd seen in the Houston Chronicle that absolutely is apropos to what we're doing. With our GSBS graduate school, we did just receive a $750,000 gift from the CH Foundation for a genetic sequencer. As Dwayne mentioned, we're doing a lot of things in conjunction with TTU, and we're working across the highway a lot more. Our Vice President of Research, Michael Kahn, is working a lot with the Vice President of Research on the TTU side to make sure that we keep things moving forward, and where we can, we have people working with one another. On page 21, one of the things that we're very excited about in School of Allied Health Sciences, each of you have a copy of this brochure, a Bachelor of Science in Health Sciences. This is the first one in the state, and we're exceedingly proud of the work that our Allied Health group has done. You can take folks that have currently associate's degrees in areas like respiratory therapy, paramedics, and the like, and using the same model that we have for the RN to BSN program, you can take them up to bachelor's degrees, because the same thing's happening in these areas. That's what happened with nursing, where there's the expectation with hospitals and clinics is they have a bachelor's degree. This is the first one in the state that's put this together. It's actually one of the first ones in the nation that has put this together. We use the model of success that we have with the RN to BSN program. My expectation is that the School of Allied Health Sciences is going to be growing dramatically. The dean and I had a joint letter that we put out together that we sent to the president of every community college in the state, and the feedback that we've already gotten has been tremendous. We just sent this out, and we've already got the first articulation agreement signed. So, looking forward to that. We have concentrated clinical training sites now for some of our allied health students, where we, instead of just kind of scattering them to various preceptors all over West Texas and all over the rest of the state, we concentrate them on the campuses where we already have a presence, and by doing so, it'll help with the student's sense of belonging. And I've told you guys this on a number of occasions, but the licensure pass rates that you can see on page 22, the licensure pass rates for allied health sciences and our disciplines continues to be just absolutely stellar. School of Pharmacy, page 23, we had our School of Pharmacy participate with other schools in presenting what was voted to be the best paper published in 2013 of all schools of pharmacy when it comes to pharmaceutical education. And that's a testament to the work that we're doing on interprofessional work with the School of Pharmacy. On page 24, School of Nursing, we're expanding our presence to the Texas Medical Center in Houston with establishing a relationship with Texas Children's Hospital on advanced care nurse practitioners there. They came to us, and they wanted to work with us on this rather than other institutions that are there in the city with them. We're doing great work with them. Back in August of 13, we had gotten the approval from the board for a nursing anesthesia program to be headquartered in Abilene. I've got there listing below you some informational change for you. We have the approval for a doctorate nurse practice, a DNP program for it. But the model that everybody was using was one to first get somebody trained to a master's level, then to a doctorate level. We've been notified that over time, that by 2025, everybody has to be trained to the doctorate level, so that changes our funding scheme for it, because you have to have different type of training. So there's some information describing the difference in what the cost will be and how we're going to be covering the cost for it. And then finally, on page 26, our School of Nursing was just designated as one of the National League of Nursing as a center of excellence. And there are 29 nursing schools in the United States that have that designation. So this is something that we're exceedingly proud of as a university, because it's the type of thing that shows that people around the nation are watching what it is that we're doing, and we can compete head to head with anybody in the country. There is at the back of this report, and this is from the Office of the Inspector General, it's required that we give you guys an institutional compliance report once a year. And so Sonia Castro, who's the director of our institutional compliance, has put this together for me. On page 28 of the report here, you will find that. And so if you have trouble sleeping at night, that's a good report to read. And then the last thing I'll tell you is that on page 11 is your joke of the day. That's my report. Thank you.
Dr. Mitchell, be safe in your travels to Rome, please. Eric.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to present to you all again. So things are pretty quiet at TTU HSC over the summer. The majority of our senators are not on campus, but my executive team and me have been keeping busy with a few projects that I'm excited to fill you in on. So if you remember last time we met, one of the things that I talked about, and Dr. Mitchell gave me a hard time for airing our dirty laundry, was the fitness equipment. Sorry, Dr. Mitchell. Was the fitness equipment in our Synergistic Center. And so we tackled this project last week. We've been working all summer with the rec center on main campus, and we were able to get rid of all the old broken equipment, and we moved in all new treadmills, recumbent bikes, upright bikes, all that stuff. And one of the things we did was we had like 15 different cardio machines in there, and we'd only have 3 or 4 students in there using those at a time. So we cut down on a lot of the excess because it was just cluttered. And what we did was we put down some floor mats, and we got some new free weights and things like that. So now we have more space for students to do other things. And this project was very important to me because as a health sciences center, I feel you know, we're going to be future healthcare providers, and it's very important for us to lead by example. So I feel like it's very important that we promote healthy lifestyles for our students, so that way when we're out there practicing, people will see this and they'll hopefully follow our example. The second big project we've been working on since last spring was getting wireless printing installed in our academic classroom in our Synergistic Center. I'm sure Hunter Atkins probably mentioned this because this is something he started. And so we finally have the printers, we have them installed. It took us about a month and a half to find spots for both printers just because of fire codes and things like that. But we've got them all set up. And so what this is going to allow is that on days where, you know, a student's running late for class and they forget to grab their PowerPoint for lecture or something like that, they'll be able to print their lecture notes from either their computer or their cell phone, anything like that. So they won't be caught missing materials for their classes, which is good. And we think it's going to be very utilized. The price is low. It's 5 cents a sheet of paper, so it's very reasonable. And we think it's going to get very heavy use throughout the next year. And so another big issue that's come up ever since I've been a part of Student Government Association is the lack of after-hours study room availability for our students. And the problem is we don't have the number of students that the main campus has, so we couldn't keep our library open 24 hours. And so we worked with facilities and security, and we are actually going to be opening up classrooms for the students to use. And the students will have to reserve them ahead of time, and this will make it so there's some accountability so they can't go in there and, you know, trash the room, so that when professor shows up at 8 in the morning to teach a lecture, there's going to be, you know, scribbling on the whiteboard and this and that. We're going to hold our students to a very high standard and make sure that they clean up after themselves, things like that. And so this is, I think, going to be a very big deal to our students because, like I said, this has been brought up time and time again, is that there's just no after-hour study halls, and they'll be available on weekends, holidays, overnight, whenever the students need them, as long as they're not booked for class or other group use. So this is going to be a very, very heavily utilized thing, I think. So upcoming events, me and the executive board are going to be traveling around Texas to El Paso, Dallas, to our other campuses just for their welcome back so we can meet the students, shake hands, tell them that if they have any questions, problems, anything they need, that we're here for them. We're not just for Lubbock. We're representing the entire Texas Tech Health Sciences Center system. We're currently recruiting our new batch of senators. We've got great, people are really excited. We've got a lot of people that are interested in joining up, and I think we're going to have a great year, lots of fun. And then we're also, as you mentioned, things are in motion for our Student Leadership Summit, which is going to be bigger and better than last year. We're expecting at least 100 students from Lubbock and then across Texas will come. It's going to be on November 1st, so UT versus Texas Tech. It's a big game. We're going to provide tickets to anybody who travels. I'm really excited, though. We got a lot of good projects coming up this year, and so thank you for your time. If there's no questions, I will. All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Eric. Dr. Blank.
Hey, Dr. Mitchell, can we not help them get some study rooms?
Isn't that a great complaint? We don't have enough after-hour study room. Things have changed from when Ted and I were in school.
I may be young, but a lot has changed because we didn't have after-hour studying when I was in school.
Eric, as the new health science center, we don't have a student government association yet. We're forming one, so we're going to rely on you and your members to come over and give us some help and instruction. That'll be great. And I applaud your efforts, by the way, to lead by example with regard to health. And exercise is clearly important. I'm a cardiologist, and a glass of red wine is also very important, daily. And I'll speak to Dr. Mitchell about that on your behalf. Okay?
That's great.
I thought I'd take a tack where I'd introduce you to our students. We have about over 1,900 staff now at the Health Science Center, over 300 faculty, but we're a medical school and a nursing school and a graduate school. I thought I'd introduce you, spend just about 5 minutes introducing you. Since our meager beginnings in 2009, in which we had 40 students enroll, you can see the cumulative enrollment as of fall of 2014 is 497, almost 500 students. Over 5 years, that's pretty remarkable. And I had the privilege of presiding at the white coat ceremony where we had 104 students, and I can tell you there was electricity in the room. It was an exciting event. So we have the full complement. I'll walk you through the Paul L. Foster School of Medicine. Again, this is a total of 364 students enrolled, about 16% of them from El Paso. On the left-hand side, you can see the ethnicity, about 45% Caucasian, and I'm proud of the fact that we have a tremendous amount of diversity. 55% of our student population are in fact non-Caucasian, and almost 50% are women. In fact, these are the latest. This is the incoming class. We have 104 students. We're bursting at the seams. We only intended to take 100, but the applicants were so incredibly good we couldn't cut it off. And we're having trouble fitting, you say, it's just 4 extra students. But our curriculum is so intensive with regard to personal interaction. Getting these 4 additional students means we already have constraints upon our room and our ability to accommodate them. You can see, again, a great amount of diversity. And you can look at this, and I'm proud of the fact that 55% of the incoming class is women. Again, when Ted and I trained, this was 10 or 15%. And so I consider this to be a great success. Now, I prefer to think really 100% are either females or direct descendants of females. Either way, it works. So we're doing pretty well. The other thing I'm particularly proud of is it looks like 1/4 of our students are from El Paso. And when I interviewed, and I think it was Regent Montfort that asked me, how will you know you're successful? And I said, one of the ways we're going to know we're successful is when we are the destination place where people want to train. Not your second or not your third choice or not your fourth choice, but it's the first place where you want to train. And more importantly, if you're from El Paso, you want to train in El Paso. And so I'm proud of the fact that 24%, or almost 23% of the class, 1/4 of the class, is from El Paso. These are the numbers for the Gil Grieve Hunt School of Nursing. You can see we have a total of about 110 students, and a large percentage of those are Hispanic, which again represents our culture or our environment. About 83% of these are women. This is the incoming class. Now, we're projected, our plans are to have 600 students total. We're starting fairly small right now till our certification rate gets up, and at which point we'll be able to increase the class size. But again, about 3/4 Hispanic and 3/4 female. We've been a regional campus for the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. We have 23 students enrolled right now. Again, what's remarkable, 2/3 of them Hispanic, 2/3 of them are female. 10 years ago, women entering science was almost unheard of. And Hispanics entering science fields also not very common. So we're very proud of this. This is the incoming class. Again, 2/3 female and a great amount of diversity as well. Total, we've had about 600 students enrolled. You can see there for Paul L. Foster School of Medicine, this is current enrollment, 110 in Gail Grieve Hunt School of Nursing, and 23 in what was our regional campus, but will soon be our freestanding campus, based upon your approval. We've done this with a minor increase in our operating budget. You saw that the total budget for both health science centers is about $820 million, and we represent about $210 million of that. We've been able to add all these additional schools and add additional students with what I consider to be a fairly modest increase in our budget. I'm really proud of this. As from 2009 to 2014, we've increased our research funding from $2 million to $25 million, with the largest component of that being NIH funding. This will increase as I recruit a vice president of research and an associate dean of our Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, which is in the works. I'll have more about that for our next meeting. You all are aware that we're forming new partnerships. These new partnerships allow us to enhance and to expand our educational opportunities, and that's incredibly important. They allow us to increase the programs that we offer. It allows us to diversify across the payer mix. It makes us not only well-suited in terms of our educational efforts, but also in terms of the finances that are involved with that as well. So our partnership with Tenet now, they showed us these architectural renderings. The architect said, what do you think about this? Now you'll see on the right-hand side is the hospital. On the left-hand side is a medical office building that we would lease and operate the hospital. The first thing he said, he showed us that, the first words out of my mouth is, the next time I see this picture, there will be no burnt orange in that picture. He understood. Good. Just some highlights. Again, we talk about this collaboration that is with Tenet or Sierra Providence Health Network and Texas Tech University Health Sciences at El Paso, collaborating on this new teaching hospital. This is a critical part of our future. Even before I came on board, we had a significant contract with the University Medical Center that was not renewed. And we say, gosh, what are we going to do about this? I'm happy to say that we partnered with another hospital, again with the Sierra Providence. We're able to move our program there. We're able to retain our best anesthesiologists and to maintain the teaching program as well, all in a very short period of time. And I credit my leadership team, not me, my leadership team, with accomplishing this. Now I want to take it down from the big, I want to take it down to the small, because this happened to me in the first 2 weeks. Josh Gaines was a graduate of our medical school in 2013, the Paul L. Foster School of Medicine. About March 15th, he received notification that he had gotten his first choice for residency. He was going to do anesthesia at the Cleveland Clinic. A week later, he has symptoms, goes in and gets evaluated, and realizes he has stage 4 metastatic colon cancer. It's pretty devastating, very devastating. For the year, Josh puts off his residency training and undergoes treatment. And as unfortunately occurs with stage 4 colon cancer, it is a terminal disease. Now, I've been in office now for about 38 days, but I can tell you in the first 10 days, I get an email about Josh. I've never met him personally, but the email said this: Josh is at MD Anderson in Houston. They've told him that there is no more treatment that can be offered. And Josh realizes he's going to die in Houston. And Josh is from Midland, Texas. And his family sends a note, and I get this note within the first 2 weeks that says, Josh cannot travel on a commercial airline, and he's too sick to travel by ambulance. What do we do? He'd like to go home. Now, for those of you that talk to Rick Francis, you know my experience with airlines and Texas Tech isn't exactly stellar. So I was reluctant to put this in the hands of the Chancellor Emeritus. Inside joke, sorry about this, folks. And the note goes like this: what are we going to do and how do we cover it? And within 60 minutes, Ted Mitchell says this is a no-brainer. He's one of ours. I don't care what it costs. We're getting him to Midland. Within the next hour, there's an anonymous donor from Texas Tech that offers a plane to pick up Josh and to take him home. The only condition is that the donor remain anonymous. Josh, they pick him up. Josh flies home. He's in a comatose condition. He lands. He wakes up and he says, "I'm home, aren't I?" They said, "Yes." He dies within 2 hours. I sent a note to the anonymous donor. Excuse me. And I sent a note to the anonymous donor. I said, "Dear Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous, you don't know me. I've been in this job for 2 weeks. I've been a University of Texas employee for 30 years. This is my introduction to the Texas Tech family, and I love it. If you take care of your own like this, I'm proud to be a part of the institution." You read more about it on page 14. I want to thank Ted. He stepped in. Again, this is what I want to be a part of, where you say we're going to do what's right, whatever it takes. Now, the last thing is I want to tell you a little bit, just spend just 60 seconds talking about our institution. This is Ted Mitchell. He designed this caduceus in the medical thing. I think it represents things well, despite the fact every time Mary Kroll sees it, she crawls up the wall, so I'm told. This is Texas Tech El Paso. And what I want to say is we're very proud of our heritage. We're proud of our association. And that association will continue, make no doubt about it. We will be an important part of the Texas Tech Texas Tech University system. Yet we'll be distinctive. And it's important we're distinctive, because we're not in Lubbock, we're in El Paso, and there are different communities, and there are different needs. There are different opportunities. And we can build upon that, because not everybody wants to study in Lubbock. They want to study border health. They need to come with us. And there'll be people that want the curriculum here in Lubbock, and we need to direct them here. So over the course of the next 10 or 20 years, what I can tell you is there'll be times we come before you with things, and we're not trying to break apart. Not in any way. We're trying to enhance the system. I'm very grateful that I step in right now, what you all have done over the last 15 or 20 years. It is really remarkable. Ted's a great partner. I can't thank you enough for allowing me to sit next to him during these meetings. It is wonderful. Don't ever change that, John. And I'm open for questions at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lang. Before we continue, Kobe, do you have any comments?
You know, I would just say I think a lot of the numbers and what they've said speaks for themselves, but I mean, this is top tier stuff that they're doing at the Health Science Center. I mean, just like President Mitchell said, the MCAT scores are the same as Mayo Clinic. And I think for a long time, I figured as much.
We've been working up.
I wonder why he called me the anchor, but I never could figure it out. But no, I mean, it's the real thing going on, and I'm just so excited and proud. And now that I'm traveling, I'm at the University of Pennsylvania for the month, and I can tell you I'm toe-to-toe with all the students there because of the preparation I've received at Texas Tech. And so it's what they're telling you is the real deal, and it just should be really excited about what's going on over there.
Thank you. Thank you. The final item of business are announcements. The only announcement I have, our fellow regent, John Steinmetz, is about to be a father again, hopefully next week, right? So we're praying for Jamie, and of course we're praying for you to survive the next few days. So please keep us in touch, John. Please keep us in touch.
Such a good friend, isn't he? Such a good friend.
Chancellor, we thank you. Great meeting. We look forward to many, many more with you. Thank you. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Gotta be a rep.